श्रीगणेशाय नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः।
Now we have a great person amongst us who has great dignity, great perseverance, power, enthusiastic, and determined. And most of all, he's supportive to every one of us by just picking up the phone and just talking to him. These words are seldomly together in a single sentence, but stands true for our president of AIPHA, Harish Bhatt. He stands tall, and not only because he's a pharmacist himself, but still believes while others are in the same profession, we have given up hope, but he still fights daily against the PBMs and Springfield head-to-head to bring us all back our rights and our respect as a pharmacist. He confronts the challenges, as we all do, as pharmacists face, that he encounters the same battles in his own pharmacies to allow us to unite under one umbrella and give us the opportunity to make a basis for our survival for the future, for independent pharmacies, and for our profession. Again, I know the whole grunt is taken probably by his family, but again, now we're part of his family too. Let's get Mr. Harish Bhatt, the president of Association, up here to say a few words. Thank you.
Tushar, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. How about these guys? Hardik Bhatt, Raja Bhatt, Hardik Patel and Raja Bhatt. I think these guys are great. This young generation is really making us proud. I think they both deserve, again, a great round of applause. Our next congressman from the 8th district, Raja Krishnamurthy, guys. It's a wonderful evening, and I'm so delighted to join all of you at such a heartwarming occasion. I welcome all of you to the AIPHA Banquet and Expo. It is our honor that we are joined tonight by Honorable Consul General Dr. Asif Syed, Jay Stewart, Director of Professional Regulation, Dr. Yash Amin, Director of Drug Compliance, Alex Hemsley, Director of Policy and Procedure, Hardik Bhatt, Chief Information Officer for State of Illinois, Aarti Parikh, Investigator for Professional Regulation, Marcus Evans, State Rep, Shahabuddin, Chairman of Qatar Airways, thank you so much for your support, Jeff Brennan and Mike Siner from Cardinal Drugs, Mark Hendricks and Tony Ferrante from H.D. Smith Drugs, and obviously Raja Krishnamurthy. Thank you all for coming. Welcome. The AIPHA Banquet and Expo offers a platform in which members can network among ourselves, as well as it gives us an opportunity to meet and greet the decision makers that influence our future and change. I'm going to submit a few thoughts on matters which are close to all of our hearts. We live in this great age called a chemical age, the golden age of drug therapy. In the research labs, the genius of science is going to surpass all previous discoveries of the past. But how will we bring these drugs to our patients? And how are our patients going to benefit if pharmacists, who are a key element of the healing arts theme, cannot play a central role? In order to provide the best possible care, we need information, teamwork, and manpower. Manpower means the best we can recruit and retain. How can we obtain the best manpower when the tide is against the pharmacist's survival? Tonight, we are celebrating our survival. Another year has passed, and we continue to level with big chains and mail-order competitors. We proudly represent many of the independent pharmacies in the state of Illinois. We still remain resilient, even though we are faced with doubts of sustainability. But with that being said, I would like to express my concern in regards to how difficult it is for an independent pharmacy to open an independent pharmacy in today's day. We are required to open our doors for business 30 days after licensing, but it takes us anywhere from 6 months, in case of Department of Illinois Public Aid, to 12 months in case of Blue Cross Blue Shield, and in some instances up to 18 months for insurance companies like Envision RX to secure contracts before we can even open our doors. We humbly request our representatives to hold insurance companies accountable and to make sure that the willing providers are permitted to serving our communities. We need to cut the red tape to help us practice, which in turn will create more jobs and level the playing field. Separate from this detrimental issue, how are we as independent pharmacy owners expected to practice when we are being set up to fail? With the rising prices of generic drugs, I don't know whether you're familiar or not, but some of these prices have gone through the roof, 800%, 1,000%. I know some of this is in the newspapers. And increased government regulations. Every day there is a new government regulation. Certified pharmacy tax. Pharmacy tax will now require 2 years of CE. The cost of doing business has increased. In addition, we find ourselves coming up short due to the sharp decrease in reimbursement and lack of equivalent margins. It has become vital that we unite. Medicaid is going to expand under the Affordable Care Act, and we must get fair opportunity to partner with them in providing the most cost-effective care. We must demand that the state ceases preferred pharmacy contracting, which not only takes away a patient's right to choose his or her own provider, but also breaches the all-willing provider rule. I encourage every pharmacist to come together to negotiate with the state. Now, you may not believe me, but I have news about pharmacy that is actually positive. I have good news and I have better news. First, I'll give you the good news. CMS 2345 FC. Remember that letters, especially for all pharmacists. CMS 2345 FC. This is not a new Star Wars droid. This is a new rule that is currently in effect, and all states must implement that by April 2016. That's what the federal government says. I know it is already May, but we all know, and I apologize, Hardik, but for us normal people, state of Illinois is at a standstill. For us pharmacists, this rule means states must begin paying us based on the actual acquisition cost of the drug. The actual acquisition cost is the cost that is adjusted for discounts, incentives, and other expenses. The rule also changed the name of the term dispensing fees to professional dispensing fees in order to better recognize the pharmacist's cost. A good thing. If professional dispensing fee, which compensates for cost beyond the ingredient cost of a covered outpatient drug, is gained at the point of sale, most likely, the future will eventually result in more money in dispensing fees for pharmacies. The pharmacy industry welcomes a shift to acquisition cost reimbursement, which is a lower risk, lower return model for pharmacies. The states will decide these fees by June, we hope. Thankfully, our lobbyist and a friend of our association, Jake Miller, has been in dialogue with HFS leadership to ensure that our interests are represented in negotiations. He will be negotiating our dispensing fees on behalf of AIPHA, along with IPHA and IRMA. He's also working on an audit bill. Obviously, we really need this bill, Jake, after what is happening with Prime Therapeutic audits. And the way Prime Therapeutic audits have been going these days, Dr. Amin, we may not need your department because they're coming and examining way more things than you do, unfortunately. So he's also working on an audit bill under HB 4079 that will keep insurance companies transparent. I would like to sincerely thank him, as well as all AIPHA members, non-members, and student chapters for their endless support through which we are able to recognize our aspirations. Now the better news. And I know you heard Jay Stewart telling you all about the new standardization chart and the ticketing system that they have come up with, which is wonderful. You know, it gives us a clear understanding of what is expected of the thorough pharmacist self-check. Consequences have been clearly defined. If there is a non-compliance to self-check, consequences for violations include $100 fine for the first one, $150 for the second violation, $250 for the third violation, and the fourth violation will result in appearance in front of the board. Of course, if you follow the 18-point checklist outlined by the department, you will incur no issues. We would like to congratulate Jay Stewart, Dr. Amin, and the department for their hard work on this new and fair checking system. Thank you so much. I would also like to take a few minutes to thank all our vendors and all the vendors who put up the booth, without whom this banquet would not be possible. Cardinal Drugs, H.D. Smith Drugs, Amneal Pharmaceuticals, McKesson Drugs, Trividia Health, Smith Drugs, Micro Merchant Pharmacy Software, Colossal Drugs, Pharmacy Automation, Parada, Windmill Vitamins, Alpine Health, Best RX Pharmacy Software, DAA Pharmacy Software, Telefarm, Diva International, and last but not least, thank you so much, Qatar Airways. I also want to extend gratefulness to families of my team and our AIPHA board members for supporting and serving our association unconditionally. Guys, they really deserve a great round of applause. Please help me. I also want to thank my wife for supporting me to do what I enjoy most, which is to serve my fellow pharmacists and our profession. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for attending our banquet and making us feel so warm. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Shibani Kashyap and Asim Singh from Adam Events for flying all the way here from India to entertain us. And last but not the least, Jankhana Desai. If you like your food today, you like your arrangement today, guys, call her again. She's a great event planner. We call her fondly JD, Jankhana Desai. Once again, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate this. Thank you.